Hey, this is John Carlos, and I am really excited to review for you guys the Marvel Legends Series Infinity Gauntlet by Hasbro. Now, this box is huge. It's bigger than me in the frame, and that's because it's supposed to be a 1-to-1 scale replica, like toy replica. I mean, granted, Legends Series is supposed to be kind of like adult toys. Not adult toys, but you know, nerdy toys for adult. We've got an instruction manual here. This thing is supposed to have articulated fingers and light up infinity stones. And it has some sound effects. And I know the fingers can lock into like a closed glove display position, like a fist. Wow, that was easy. Ta-da! And you can just, there's like a handlebar right inside there. You just grab that. And I don't know if you guys can see closer in there, but yeah, there are little finger grippies there, and those are for gripping and articulating these guys. Now, this thing requires 3 AAA batteries, which it does not include, so I'll put those in a moment. But first, right out of the box, I just want to grab these and see if it's easy to hook onto them or not. Ah. Oh, they lock. I think I have to read the instruction manual now. Alright, I read the instructions and I put in the batteries. The batteries just go into this compartment right here. The screw comes out really easily, so that's not a problem. There's a speaker here that also bleeds out through this little outer spot, these little grates for it. This clips in and in really easily, so that's nice. To turn on the lights and hear the sound effects, you just press the Mind Stone once real quick. Goes for about 6-7 seconds, and the lights stay on and kind of slowly flicker. They kind of, you know, just kind of pulsate. This stays lit for about a minute, and then it turns off on its own, or you can hold this for a few seconds until they go out on their own like that. You can also turn the lights on by pulling the finger things inside, which these have their own sound effects. Here we go. Now, each individual finger triggers that sound, which is kind of fun, but if you start playing with the fingers a lot, each time starts to get annoying. If I had any complaint about this, it would be that I wish that the lights could stay on, but turn the sound of the fingers off. Like if there was like a sound off button, but just sound off, leave the lights on. Also, that little sound effect that we have of the stones turning on, you can engage that by triggering all the fingers from pinky to thumb in that order. Now, when I turn this off, there is a second setting in the instruction manual that if you hold this long for a few seconds, it'll keep the lights on longer. It sounds the same when you start it, but here we go. You hold that for a few seconds until it kicks on. Once it's done that, these will stay lit for a half an hour. So that's a fun feature. And then to turn that off, you just tap it real quick, and the lights go out. There's also a fun little feature here. You pull that little thingy down, and it'll lock the fingers into the downward position. Let's get that going. And there we go. You can put this on the tabletop and just like kind of leave it lit up for like a half an hour. Looks cool. And those fingers will stay in the fist position. So that's fun that there's a good fisting with this. And then you just flick that up. Releases the fingers. Alright, now I just want to give you guys a close-up look at the gauntlet, just so you can see the sculpt and appreciate some of the details within this, like the fact that they kind of dirtied it up a bit. It's not a full-blown wash, it's more like they just took like a sponge and just kind of dirtied it up in some areas. But still, pretty good sculpt, especially around the Infinity Stone casings, you know, that hold the Mind Stone and the Soul Stone and the Reality Stone, Space, Power, and the Kidney Stone, the Time Stone. I really like the different little shapes around them, especially this whole sculpted section right there. They got a little carried away with some of the dirtying up in it, but most of the light scuffing looks better than these little grooves right here. We'll look at the fingertips in a moment, but here, let me turn the lights off just so you can kind of see them. Not like it makes that big of a difference, but there is a little bit of like surface sculpting here going on, so that each stone is got its own individual shape, and also they don't have like air bubbles, but it's not quite glitter, but there's little tiny, almost like bubbles within their surface that help refract the light a bit. Yeah, there's the time stone right there. But what I want to show you guys is the inside of the fingers, because they look like little armor pieces, which is great that they're like these bracketed armor pieces. But then you get to the thumb, and it's got a little bit more of like a chainmail underneath, like a little meshy thing, so that's fun. There's not much of an inside sculpt to this, not much to speak of. It's just like a basic palm with just more brushing on it, but really, really heavy-handed edges right along there, which is kind of fine. Like, I'm not expecting the most high-end paint job on this, but it is a little... it's just big marker going right along the edge there. And then lastly, just the inside of the gauntlet, the inside kind of arm part right there. But some really nice little sectioning on the sides here. And I like the sort of faux bolting and the little like kind of ribbed edges there. I mean, there's some pretty good sculpting on this. Now I'm going to show you how the Infinity Stone lights read in darker lighting. Pretty good, actually. I mean, you can see them kind of pulsate a little bit, and just the lighting hitting my face, like they cast a pretty decent glow, so that's fun. And just for S's and G's, let's do it in total darkness. Yeah, there you go. Part of me wonders if it would have been slightly cooler if they made this to scale with your average human, so it actually kind of fit the human dimensions. But I do think ultimately making a bigger Infinity Gauntlet that is 1-to-1 scale is the better way to go, even though it looks a little silly on my arm. It's such a cool display piece. Also, I don't think it's actually 1-to-1. It's pretty close though, but I imagine if I'm Cap and there's like a fist right here, I feel like it was bigger in the movie. I feel like Thanos' hand would be bigger than this. Having said that though, it's still big and still cool and still really impressive. It retails for $100, or $99.99. I got it at Barnes & Noble for $80, so I felt pretty good about that. But even at $100, I feel like you're getting a good value with this. I don't think anyone should go into buying this being all like, I expect a high-end collectible with lots of good details. Like, it's made of plastic. It's from Hasbro. It's a toy. Granted, it's a bigger, cool, expensive toy, but it's still a toy from Hasbro. So, like, the paint detailing on this isn't going to be amazing. You know, these stones are made of plastic. You got the screws visible on the inside here, the screw placement. The fingers have the little seam where like the pieces of like the two molds have come together. Just basic stuff, but you know, it's still a nice piece. Like, I'm very satisfied by this, but I would hope no one would expect too much collectible snobbery from this. This is a Hasbro toy, but I like it. Like, the playability is fun. I took the batteries out so I could do this without making a bunch of noise. I mean, just doing this, like the articulation, the individual articulation and the sculpt in here, and the amount of kind of dirtying wash that they did, it reads really good. Like, this is a really fun item to have on your shelf, to play with. It's better than that little foam one, and it's a lot cheaper than the Hot Toys one coming out. Holy crap. This is a fun thing that I feel like your average fan would be very satisfied and happy to have. And I say average as in not aspiring to like Hot Toys level. This looks cool. It's a lot of fun. Between the size of it, the individual stones, the articulation, the sound effects, $100, sure. And if you can get it like on sale somewhere at Target later, or like 10% off at Barnes & Noble, whatever you can do. I know, although people are selling it for like 200 something bucks on eBay. Ooh, look out for that. Look out for that. Also, the immaturity factor, you know, you can do that. You know, you can thwip. You can you know, if you're a D-bag, you can, you know, do the shocker. You know, if you're a total garbage person. Yeah, this is really fun. I think it's #1. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. Here are the links.